Good afternoon. The doors are being closed, so I guess that's a sign to start. My name is Arjan Zwegers. I'm from the European Commission for the unit that is responsible for this work program topic on digital manufacturing platforms for connected smart factories. Freudian. Old habits die slowly. Okay. Too many projects, yeah. So we're actually in a bit, we are short of time, so we need to go fast. I will also go fast, 10 minutes, but I'll try to keep it shorter. It's a presentation I've given multiple times before. You can also see it in the links at the end. There are webinars available and so on. In other words, it's not that new, if you like. We had a call already on this topic, which closed in April this year. Evaluation was in June, and the new projects will start in January. These projects will show very quickly what they are doing. Before that, Connected Factories and Christa Kubber will present how Connected Factories, the coordination and support action, will support the projects in this call, and also it will be shown how you can build upon the work that they have done. Then there were 5 submitted presentations, so these come at the end, and we will follow the order as you see it here. So for those 5, please keep yourself ready and come on stage when the moment is there. So, I need this. Okay, this is a slide that was shown during a latest workshop that we had in October, the biggest companies in the world, from 98 to 2008 to 2018. What is surprising is a number of things. So if you look at what kind of companies these are, nowadays, 2018, it is dominated by platform companies. Platform companies in the sense that these are addressing the B2C, the business to consumer domain. Another thing that might be worthwhile to notice is actually Microsoft has been there all the time as the only company so far, which is, by the way, probably the prototype company of a business-to-business platform. For a platform company. Now, having said that, this is the situation as it was. These companies are all from the US or from China. There are not many European players in this domain. So, obviously, it is an intention of the European Union to also have main players in this area. So we came up with the Digitizing European Industry initiative, which has a number of aspects, looking at, for instance, that you see over here, this is the demand of digital technologies. How can companies use digital technologies to improve their business processes, to improve their business models, to improve their products, and so on. And the digital innovation hubs, and there are several sessions on that in this conference as well, that's the main instrument for that. Here we focus on the partnerships and platforms. As, if you like, the supply of digital technologies. The partnerships, that's where the main technology development takes place. For instance, the robotics partnerships, the data value partnership, the photonics partnership, and also the factories of the future partnership. And also there we do the work on the digital industrial platforms, of which this topic is part. Regulation, will not go in detail, and skills, of course, are also very important. Now, very quickly, how does it look like? If you have a certain value chain, it could look as follows. And this is just purely for representation purposes, so don't look at the exact contents. There are these basic technologies on the left, microelectronics, software, 5G, that are used in technologies like robotics, artificial intelligence, big data, and that are then used within certain applications, typically different industrial sectors. So if you, and these are all covered, well, many of them are covered by these partnerships that we have. So there are partnerships in place for microelectronics, 5G, and so on. Now, if you take the example of autonomous driving, that is written over here, then you need to have a number of technologies coming together. For instance, you need to have robotics in order to steer the car. You need to have artificial intelligence in order to make sense of the data that the car senses, the vision technology, and so on. You need to have photonics, for instance, for LiDAR technologies. and so on. 5G to communicate with the infrastructure or with other cars. So in other words, all these technologies come together. And you need to make sure that they integrate, that they work well together. And therefore, you need to specify it such that these technologies can work together. So you need to make sure that data from these different technologies can be collected, can be exchanged, and can be used. So in other words, you're developing some kind of middleware, which you can also see as a platform, where you can, where that collects the data, that integrates different technologies, but also where this data that is being extracted is made available for other applications on top. Always we get the question, what do you mean digital industrial platform? So we don't mean a place of opportunity for public discussion. No, we mean more like an operating system that integrates different technologies and various applications and services. We don't talk about business to consumer. We don't talk about Facebook, Android, whatever. We talk about industrial platforms in the business world. And this is a comparison that we have used for quite some time by now. Everybody has a smartphone, and you know how it works. You have an operating system in the middle, whether it's iOS or Android or something else, that connects these different technologies. The screen, the loudspeaker, the microphone, the GPS, and so on. And that data is being integrated and made available to applications on top, whether it is Facebook, Tumblr, LinkedIn, whatever. And you can say the same about smart factories. So there is a platform in the middle that connects different assets, machines, applications, human operators that provide data input, and so on. And that data is made available to applications on top. Demand planning, forecasting, production control, whatever. So it's a bit the same role for a platform that we would like to have here as iOS, Android, and so on play for the mobile phone. Okay, this is a slide that shows you the different roles that platforms can play. I will not go in detail, but basically you can identify 3 different roles: connecting, integrating data, and in the middle, making sure that data is brought to third parties as a complementary application, so acting as a development infrastructure. And here at the bottom, you see some typical examples of that. The key point here is that these 3 different roles can be seen in reality to different degrees. So we do not ask you, if you want to submit a proposal, to focus on all 3 roles. Probably all 3 roles will be used to some extent. But where you want to put the emphasis, that's completely up to you. This picture I will skip. Perhaps Chris from Connected Factories will say a few words about this. It consists of the currently running project from FOF11. The 3 new projects that you will hear later are not here yet, but it gives you an indication of what the current set of projects are addressing. Now, going to the work program, what do we want? We want European actors to join together along common interests and to develop these platforms and standards that are of interest to European industry. We ask proposals to focus on 4 different types of activities, what you see over here. So platform building, there you have to make specifications for a platform. You have to develop it, meaning you have to implement it. That can be in open source, can also be in proprietary applications. Then once you have that done, once you have a platform, you need to test it. You need to validate it. That can be in pilots, that's the second activity, whether it's real-life pilots or whether it's test beds. Anyway, you need to test it. And also you need to have application development on top of it. Ecosystem building, it's nice that you do this in a project, but that doesn't create a lot of impact. It creates impact when you have an ecosystem around it. You can generate, or at least start to generate such an ecosystem via financial support to third parties, which means that you give funds, small grants, to third parties to develop, for instance, applications on top of the platform, to do some piloting, and so on. And then standards, once you have the specifications and once these are validated, at least to some extent, you could go to standardization bodies to have it standardized And that, if you manage to do so, would create a real impact via the standardization activities. We also ask you not to develop everything from scratch. So just as an example, if you want to do piloting and you want to use, for instance, a model factory to test and validate the platforms you have developed, you could develop such a model factory yourself, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. These are already available. These are, for instance, available in certain member states, funded by national initiatives or funded by other ways, and therefore you should actually make use of what is already available, for instance, such a model factory, but also, for instance, a digital innovation hub if you want to involve SMEs in validation and application development. So in other words, you need to act as a linking pin between different initiatives in this domain. Now, the call text, this is literally taken from the work program. Well, you can read it yourself, and the text is out there. I'm not going to read it. But what is important is this is part of a focus area. And if you look at the work program, there is a text related to the focus area, the introduction, and that applies as well in addition to the text for the specific topic. The experience we had in the first call, where 16 proposals were submitted, was that actually everybody understood this. Nobody made a mistake here. But we cannot emphasize it enough. So in case you want to submit, don't look only at the topic text, also look at the introduction to the focus area. That's the point. So what we're asking for is innovation actions to develop platforms for connected smart production facilities. You need to target at least one grand challenge, and grand challenges is defined by an EFRA document, where you see the reference over here. Now, the first call, meaning the first two topics, agile value networks, excellence in manufacturing, has already passed. So if you want to submit, it's either for human factor or sustainable value networks. Again, if you want to know what it means, look at the EFRA document for more details. Reference implementations, they can be, but do not have to be in open source. If you want proprietary software, that's perfectly fine. If you want to have open source, that's perfectly fine. You just need to argue for both, actually. If you want to involve third parties, that is possible. It should be 50 to 150,000 euro contributions per third party, and you can spend 20% of your funding in doing this. Also, we have coordination and support actions in this call. That was not in the first call, but in the second call, and that is open now. There is a little action related to coordination and support actions, with the objective to cross-fertilize industrial platform communities, allowing for easier take-up of digital technology, supporting transfer of skills and know-how between academia and industry. 2 million euro is available for that. Expected impact. There are the 3 expected impact bullet points that relate to this topic, and I cannot emphasize it enough again, there are the 6 expected impact bullet points related to the focus area. If you go in detail in those 6, you see that they relate to the 4 main activities plus some other aspects. Now, some administrative staff, 45 million euro is available for this call. We expect proposals up to 16 million euro. Now, if you divide 45 by 16, it's not a nice number, so be kind and make it up to 15 million, I would say. There is the CSA of 2 million with a deadline of April the 2nd. There are other activities in the same focus area. So here we talk about DT ICT07, digital manufacturing platforms. At the same time, and you can hear tomorrow about it, there is a call on big data solutions for energy. The other ones have already been called for. Some of them are currently under evaluation. And yeah, so this is what is available. And some of them also will come in 2020, such as Smart Hospital of the Future and so on. Now, this is perhaps one of the most important slides, which, yeah, you need the links. So you need to have the PDF with the actual links. There is a lot of background material already. And I would like to emphasize this one, the workshop that we had in October 15, 16. The report was published 3 days ago. So please have a look at that report. If you want to make a proposal for this call, you need to know the report. And with that, thank you, and I would like to ask Chris to come and give the next presentation.
Hello, yes, my name is Chris from EFRA, European Factories of Future Research Association. I have 4 minutes, which will start as soon as my presentation appears. No, it's okay. EFRA, Factories of the Future, PPP, there you go. So a legacy of 2010, since 2010, projects have been developed under this PPP, dealing with manufacturing from all different angles. A lot of demonstration activities involved, so that's where I come from in this situation. Arjan referred to the Factories 4.0 and Beyond document, which indeed is structured like this. You see the pointer to interoperable digital manufacturing platforms in the bottom there, and 2 areas, agile value networks and excellence in manufacturing. The other 2, human factor and sustainable value networks. And actually, DG Connect seemed to like that structure because the calls on digital platforms were exactly structured according to those 2 dimensions. So just to clarify, when Arjan refers to it as a reference document, this reference document was produced before the call topics were developed. So it's not to be seen as, you know, you have to do this in order to like comply, but it's guidance. It's what is meant by it. That's how you should read it. Pathways. Connected factories is a coordination action that we're doing since 2.5 years almost. And we're there making sense of digitalization, of what projects do in order to, well, to make progress in terms of digitalization. The role of digital platforms is also prominent there, but what is important is that digitalization already happens or is work in progress. So you have a situation where digital platforms play a role, but you have to take into account the legacy. So there, I would like to just mention that we also appoint a lot of attention to this fact. So this is innovation actions, so you're going more to the deployment phase, but taking into account actually the status in the factories as they are is also quite important. So we're developing these pathways, and along these pathways, the previous one was actually focusing on the factory automation pyramid as a context of digitalization. There's another one, I'm going quickly through this obviously, is focusing on supply chains and value networks. And a third one is focusing, oh, I'm sorry about that, on the product service development. And digital platforms play a role there. What as connected factories we're doing, and we will continue doing and really ramping this up more and more towards the future, is we want to position what projects do, what the demonstrators do along these pathways, so we have better intelligence of what is happening and what the outcome of the project is in terms of what they really achieve in companies or what they would achieve in companies along different axes. This is a slide I showed this morning in the session on security. It says autonomous smart factories. The title should actually be cybersecurity in manufacturing, where actually for particular angles, we're also looking at making these pathways. So just for you to know what connected factories is doing, so really provide different angles on what digital platforms in manufacturing mean, so we can provide more structured intelligence. And we're really doing a call now to all projects, being it even regional, national, regional, from other programs to bring us the cases that they're working on. We're already collecting a lot, but we really want to have a critical mass on concrete cases, the technologies that are being deployed, the standards that are being used, and the actual benefit that the digitalization brings, and the role of digital platforms in this. So this is actually our call. We have a video on there, so that's a more fancy look and feel of the platforms to explain what we're doing, so you can take your time and watch this. If you go to the EFRA website or you type connected factories, you will find it quite easily. We're promoting it quite heavily now. It has been made available since a week or so. So look for connected factories on the EFRA website. You have a specific section about it. And there I'm pointing to cluster news. Arjan provided some links already. Previous events we did in February last year, or still this year actually, We did sessions on different issues, business models, security, interoperability, with different projects, some FOF, some beyond FOF, so have a look there. And we're really dealing about project information sharing. So if you want to see what's already cooking in other projects, have a look there as well, and check the EFRA Innovation Portal. Just to show an example, this is a section of the kind of mapping framework where we're developing, and this is the FIWARE section we're now setting up to really, we have had communications with the FIWARE Foundation about this, to really also be clear on how projects use FIWARE enablers, so to also really go to the depth and collect more intelligence of what is being used by which projects. So this exactly gives some flavor of what we're doing. The same you can refer to OPC-UA. Where is OPC-UA, TSN used? So this kind of intelligence also we are gathering. Just some publicity for a session coming up after this one in room L4 on federated smart factory ecosystem. This is very close to what we're doing in connected factories as well. So I just would like to promote that one to learn also more what's happening there. I think it's also very relevant for you. And 22nd, 23rd of May. Keep that in your agenda if you want to know more as well. But that's beyond the deadline, obviously.
Okay, thank you, Chris. And actually, the second last slide gives a very nice introduction into the next presentation. So that's Usman on behalf of eFactory, where actually those 4 projects that will be in the next session are kind of coming together.
Hello, everybody. It's Usman Rajid from Information Catalyst. We are the coordinators or project managers of the eFactory project. One of the 3 projects funded in the DT ICT07 call. Right. So the concept of eFactory project is grounded in the excellent work that Chris and his colleague that Connected Factory CSA has done with regards to characterization of existing ongoing projects and identifying their value propositions in the digital manufacturing landscape. So this slide, as Arjen has already shown, was designed by these Connected Factories, where they have highlighted the unique, let's say, aspects of different projects and how the complementary kind of characteristics of the 4 platforms at the top can be brought together in a value proposition for connected smart factory scenarios. So taking the best or the key features of these ongoing 4 projects, we started discussing about how we can bring them together into one platform. So looking at these 4 ongoing projects, which are all ending in 2019, looking at VFOS, this is about developing operating system of smart factories and primarily focusing on shop floor level connectivity and automation. Then composition is a step higher into the enterprise integration layer. DigiCore sits on top of it about SME collaborations and how companies can exchange production and supply chain data. And Nimble then brings them all together into how different connected factories clusters can be managed and federated. So by interlinking these 4 platforms, we came up with a very interesting proposition of a federated smart factory platform. So the idea is that we will identify key propositions of these 4 projects and then try to interlink them through an interoperability layer, and try to then leverage all the core competencies and niche innovations in this dispersed, fragmented platforms, try to link them together and offer them through unified interfaces and through unified mechanisms of the platform. So these are some of the characteristic features of the 4 projects, can be also said as business functions that we have identified that the 4 existing platforms already develop or will offer. And all these will be interlinked to be made kind of operational in this ongoing, coming up eFactory platform. This is how things come together in eFactory. So we start from bringing together these 4 base platforms, also throwing in the mix some industrial platforms from eFactory partners. All these will be linked with this interoperability layer. The interoperability layer is developed as a unification mechanism or a glue that would interlink all these existing platforms and not only the platforms, tools, and services, but also the user communities that are associated with these platforms. When the data starts flowing into this interoperability layer, we will be able to then customize the existing applications and tools to make use of that data, and also be able to develop new applications as part of the prototyping initiative of the call to allow an ecosystem of applications to be developed and managed on top of the platform. The project itself would be validated through 3 embedded use case scenarios. They are from different sectors of manufacturing. So we have use case partners from aerospace, furniture supply chain, and waste management. These are already, these user communities associated with these pilots are already brought together in these, the primary platforms. And now the idea would be to give them this extended offering, the extended reach into a larger set of functions and larger set of functionalities offered by this federated platform. Finally, the eFactory project has 30 partners from 11 different countries. We bring 3 integrated pilots to validate the platform. And the validation results of the platform, of the embedded pilots will be made available as guidelines and best practices for an open call that will be, that would allow user communities and developers to actually engage with the platform and start using it. And this ecosystem will be open for users for the next 4 years. The project duration is 4 years, and this is the space to watch out for. Thank you. And just last one, if you are interested more in the project, then it will be discussed also in the next session, which Chris has already mentioned. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that advertisement. Indeed, so if you're interested in this topic, you should go to the next session. So now we go to the next presentation. Pedro, please, quality.
We have a, okay. Yes. So how does it work? The green one is the next one?
The top one, the big one.
Top one. Okay, this one. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so good afternoon. I'm Pedro from Portugal, from Unparallel. I'm actually presenting on behalf of Jorge, which is the project coordinator of Quality project. Quality is, of course, funded under the last call for that Arjen has presented, this ICT7, on digital manufacturing platforms for connected smart factories, and we are focused on autonomous quality and ZDM. Let me give you a bit overview, of course, of the project. It has to be very fast, 4 minutes, so I already have 30 seconds. So let me just give you the main highlights of the project. So our background and motivation focus on 3 main aspects, I would say. So the first one is that ZDM is traditionally approached from a manufacturing aspect, so mainly is manufacturing focused. And let's say the quality part is more a cost issues, considered cost. So we need to bring this differently. We need to link quality and the zero defect in order to, of course, address this aspect holistically. So this is the first aspect. The second one is there are digital platforms already in the manufacturing domain, but these are a bit fragmented, siloed, so there's poor integration especially for ZDM, and they are taking poor advantage of this new digital technology, AI, IoT, and all of these things. So we need to push it forward. And also, of course, there is the other aspect, which is the lack of an innovation management ecosystem in the domain, especially focused on ZDM, and also counting SMEs contribution. So our vision is basically 2, I would say. The first main aspect is autonomous quality. So we focus on this aspect of quality in an autonomous manner. So basically, we want to focus on the way that quality can enhance, of course, zero defect manufacturing. That's one aspect, so end-to-end intelligence and automation. The second one is, of course, on the digital side, innovative cognitive manufacturing solutions for ZDM. So this is the second part. So I would say these are the 2 main aspects. Let's say the outcomes more or less are in line with the 4 areas that Arjen just presented for digital platforms and pilots. So the digital enhancements, equipment and processes for ZDM, reference architecture and blueprints for autonomous quality, digital manufacturing platforms that are enhanced with digital technologies and of course are focusing on cognitive ZDM systems. And also, this is important, the Pan-European Innovation System that will boost the development of these solutions past project, during the project and past project, okay? So we have, in terms of pilots and experimental facilities, we have 14 pilots, okay? They are the group together. We have grouped them in engineering, planning, operations, and connected production. 14 pilots at all, well, main names in European industry, as you can see. But we also have 7 experimental facilities or test beds that are listed there that will also experiment more advanced ZDM concepts, okay? So this is, let's say, a main highlight for you to see. So we have 45 partners, champions mobilized that account of all the, let's say, the chain and the digital technologies. We have these digital technologies, 65 plus technologies, so AI, distributed control, big data, blockchain, cybersecurity, edge, SDN, plug-in control, so we have all this covered. We have pilots, 14 in 7 sectors. We have both production factories, but also manufacturing equipment, so we have pilots on those dimensions. Of course, we have contributions, we expect contributions in 10 standards in 10 areas. And of course, we have innovation, the first European-wide digital innovation hub for ZDM. This is the one that I talked about. And we have the open calls, 1 million euros for bringing more colleagues to work with us in the context of the project, okay? So this is, let's say, the final. I more or less keep it, so good. If you have any question, you can come up to me for sure, and or later on also address Jorge, okay?
Thank you, Pedro. Perfect timing. So we go to the third selected project. That's ZDMP. Stuart.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm here to present the Zero Defects Manufacturing Platform. So this is our vision, this is our ambition to do this, an SME-friendly platform, unsurprisingly for product quality and zero defects. I don't think that's going to be too surprising just there. One of the things is, from this particular activity, we've built this on top of existing technologies and functionality. For example, part of this project has come from Fireware originally, then Crema, then a project called C2Net. We've added more stuff to that. And at the front, you'll see a small poster for VFOS. We formed a project called VFOS, Usman already mentioned that in his eFactory project. What we're then doing is adding things on top of the building blocks of VFOS in terms of process quality, product quality, some other platform-related activity as well, to come up with the concept of the Zero Defects Manufacturing Platform. The ideal of VFOS is a multi-sided marketplace project. So we've got a set of building blocks which can be used by developers to create manufacturing applications. We call them VFOS applications. Obviously, they can be purchased from a marketplace to ensure that benefit is created for the manufacturing companies, and also that software developers can invest in further developments and essentially make money from this ecosystem. You've seen VFOS mentioned several times. We do have a stand in one of the halls in T19, so please do join us. You can find us pretty easily because we've been walking around like this most of the day. And in fact, even easier, you'll see some of our VFOS colleagues in the back. So if you've got any questions on either VFOS or ZDPM or eFactory, you can come to our stand and we'll be able to help you out. These are some of the building blocks, like the Minecraft building blocks for what we've been doing, what we will take advantage of, particularly at the platform level. Some of the concepts you're familiar, process, front end, et cetera, they can be used not just in manufacturing platforms, but actually in any manufacturing platform. The overall concept of ZDPM is in fact some kind of feedback system for product quality. A little bit of a complex side for this session, but the simpler version is here. So what we've got is a set of ZDMP applications, a bit similar to the VFOS applications, and we will provide in a set of core services, and on top of there, inspection, analytics, product process quality, and some of the themes around there. In terms of the quality aspects, which is the middle line, these are the things we're specifically looking at. So, for example, materials, energy efficiency, modeling of some of the processes of some of the product. So some of the things you're familiar with the work you're doing today, but trying to combine them all together. This is what the product looks like, or the project looks like, but this is all pretty boring stuff, so I'm really not going to tell you about that. But what I will do is just look upon the pilots and the whole ecosystem composed around that. So we've got a series of pilots, we've got some reference and outreach activities which look like this. We've got what we call large and traditional pilots in automotive and machine tools, some emerging pilots in electronics and also the construction industry. We've got a reference implementation and a cross-platform kind of implementation. And then finally, we've got the outreach activities for the cascading calls. So as you can see, the cascading calls in this one, we pretty maximize the number of budget we want to dedicate to them. And also in terms of the sectors we've addressed 4, perhaps 5 sectors. So of course, I think the core text says 2 sectors, but you might like to think about addressing a few more as well. So you can find some information about us particularly on the VFOS stand. So please, if you want some more information on either these projects or some of the building blocks from VFOS, then of course, please do come down. Okay.
Thanks to the speakers for keeping perfect timing. So now we move to the pitches. So could the people who will present a pitch raise their hands, please? 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they're all here, which means we are short of time. But I still would like to give you 3 minutes each. So let's go to the first presentation and we see who is the first one. I think it's Mr. Keener. Please.
Hello everybody, my name is Marty Keener. I come from University of Oulu, from Finland. And we have built national level network of ICT experts in Finland. And we can find good partners from our network. So we have expertise in selected areas in Finland in ICT products and research. For this call, from Oulu, we want to introduce artificial intelligence, IoT, and 5G communication expertise. And for this call, we are looking for partners and consortiums we can join and bring Finnish expertise. And you can contact University of Oulu, Susanna Pirttikangas, Matti Kinnunen, and Marko Jurvansuu from VTT if you are interested. And shortly, we want to introduce the idea of combining digital technologies and artificial intelligence and how to human behaviors in the factory environment. And also how to measure and take this human worker in the factory into account. And recent activities, we have a national level Reboot IoT Factory project. And you can visit the website of this project, and we want to scale this Finnish project to European scale, and we are looking for partners for this open call. Thank you.
Thank you for keeping it short. Can we go to the next presentation? I don't know exactly which one that is, and then can the person come to the front?
exactly. So hello everyone. So my name is Adrien Brunet. I come from Steinbeiß. It's in Karlsruhe, Germany, and we basically deal as communication, exploitation, dissemination partner. But here I want to speak a bit more about the Industry 4.0, which is an Excel initiative. And you will see in a moment why it's relevant to this call. So the Excel, the Lighthouse Industry 4.0 is an Excel initiative, as I say, from the Joint Undertaking Agreement, and is there to support program projects. So I come to that in a moment, and we're basically focusing on 4 challenges, which is digital twin, AI, predictive maintenance and predictions, and as well as digital platforms. Why it's relevant to this call is because there are already, okay, I'll come back to that. There are other lighthouses that have been selected. There are also mobility and health, but here we're focusing on industry. And there are a bunch of projects that are cross-program, as I said, that come from the Excel's calls, but also from the Factory of the Future calls and Horizon 2020. So you see connected factories that have been presented by Chris there. And so those are very interesting projects that I think you should have a look for when you apply to this call. And also, even more interesting, you might be part of this pool of projects, because it's an umbrella that covers all projects and that actually support those projects in dissemination and exploitations. So most probably those projects that will be selected for this call will be part of this umbrella. It's very short, so we are a couple of partners working to support these Lighthouse initiatives, and the coordinator is IMR from Ireland. There's VTT, there's Mondragon. I saw there are some colleagues also in the room. There's Steinbeiß, it's us, and AquaTT, and we are there to support this Lighthouse in terms of outreach, engagement for the community, support the layers, and improve the visibility also of the Lighthouse. I'll skip that. Just want to say that if you want more information about those projects and about the Lighthouse, come to see us at the Excel booth. And this is downstairs in front of the Austrian village, so where there's a blue carpet. It's a bit hidden, so it's a bit on the back. But there you will get all the information about the project and about the Lighthouse. And okay, you can contact me or my colleagues, and also the coordinator of the project, which is from IMR. It's Anne O'Connell. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Adrien. Can we move to the next presentation? Again, I do not remember the order, so. Rayan.
Okay, we start. Hi, everybody. My name is Reyhan Aydoğan, and I am an assistant professor at Özyeğin University in Computer Science and also guest researcher at the University of Technology. And in this project, I have also a colleague, Dr. Enes Kayış. He is an assistant professor in industrial engineering. And let us talk about our expertise and how we can contribute to this goal. And I am designing and developing intelligence systems. We say agent-based systems. They can use any kind of intelligence, machine learning, semantic reasoning, or any AI techniques. And I'm particularly focusing on the decision-making process. And I'm creating and designing an automated negotiation systems that the smart agents that negotiate on behalf of the users. to find a common consensus. And when there is a conflict of interest, we can use the negotiation approaches in collaborative domains. And Enis is expertise, supply chain management and business analytics and optimization. He has a PhD from Stanford. And here, this is the potential contribution. And we can design, negotiation actually is an important process in supply and demand management. So we can design negotiation protocols and strategies for digital manufacturing platforms. Actually, I have already worked in a European project. In that project, we are trying to balance the energy consumption and the production. So in a smart energy grid. So we have some experience on that one. And we can also optimize and simulate the manufacturing process. We can use the predictive models for flexible smart factories. So actually we focus on the sustainable value networks. And so we can work on a particular use case with SMEs or leading industry partners. And this is my university, Özyeğin University. And it is one of the top universities, and especially in Entrepreneur and Innovative University Index in Turkey. And here, this is our, we have recently have a grant to build Industry 4 Competence Center. And we are closely working with the industry partners in Turkey, so we can bring the leading industry partners in the consortium, as well as I have a strong collaborations with Delft University of Technology, Interactive Intelligence Group, so they are our partners as well. So here are contact information. If you're interested in, please contact with us. I think it's a long time. Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rehan. Thank you, Rehan. So now next presentation is by Alexander, please.
Thank you very much. So I'm Alexander Bolton, founder and CEO of Nucleus VR, a small startup, 4-person startup based in France, in Lyon. So we would like to join the consortium with as a building block, basically. So it's an off-the-shelf solution, which is SME-friendly to bring people together in their data in real time. So we have already customers and a lot of people interested. We've worked a lot for nuclear industry in France. The problem we're addressing is that the factories of the future will generate loads of data in very specific software packages, which you have to be trained to use. So it's very difficult to get the big picture, basically. There's all sorts of data, and only one person can basically look at it at the same time, basically. So people are working in silos, so communication is not very good. It's not very efficient. And to make it worse, big companies have factories all over the world, so the experts never really in the right place at the right time. So the way we do this is by building a digital twin of the factory that can be easily accessible by everybody on any kind of device, and on which you can pin data, basically, like a hyperlink. So the idea is to make it really user-friendly, no coding required. So you just feed into our system the CAD data or the point cloud data to create the virtual model, the 3D model. And this runs in VR, AR, just on a simple laptop or HoloLens. And everything is networked together over an internet link, which enables to have interactivity in the digital twin. For example, you can have a meeting between 3 people who are not in the same, not even in the same country. They meet up together and they see each other's avatars. In this case, on the left, they are doing a design review in a nuclear power plant. So this is just VR, but it also works between the shop floor and the digital twin. So in one case, we have this guy at the top here who is the remote expert in the digital twin who is helping a guy to fix the machine in Mexico. So this is like real-time collaboration in the digital twin and on the shop floor. So basically, what we do is we're basically the link between the humans and the machine. We're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. So we are just a group of 4, but we won an innovation contest with the European Space Agency a few months ago to do exactly what our tool does very well, is remote collaboration between astronauts and support teams on Earth. So it's a serious project. So my contact info is at the bottom, and there's video links on my profile page, the B2B profile, that you can see that illustrate this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexander. And now we go to the last presentation by Mr. Leddy. Yeah, please.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Filippo Leddy from Hololight. Hololight, tech company based in Munich, Germany, is one of the pioneer and leading software and hardware company when it comes to develop augmented and mixed reality industrial solution. So I will skip a little bit of slides, but so what we do is we develop deep tech to tackle basically the biggest problems in fully unleash the, so to speak, power of augmented reality. So by our remote rendering technology, we are already able to basically render assets 50 times bigger than the current limitation in hardware devices will allow. Collaboration, so we are totally committed to fully exploit the collaboration in the smart factory of the future. So how we do it? We do it via basically the opportunity to digitally visualize, interact with, and share 3D contents, so with a cross-platform approach. Interaction is the third missing link in fully exploit the, again, capabilities of augmented reality. So via our deep technology, we are able to allow sub-millimeter precision in interacting and creating holograms. And this is unprecedented. So skip a little bit of slides, but we do believe that augmented and mixed reality is key component of fully realize the vision of smart factories and also digital industrial platform of the future, and how we contribute our customer in realizing this vision by our products. So, for example, all of you, 3D CAD visualization tool, you just drag and drop your CAD file, you visualize them in 3D, and you share them wherever you are on the planet with your colleague, and you also interact with them, obviously. Auto Simulate, same thing, but with CAE files, so for simulation. Now we'll go a little bit faster. Auto Stylus, this is our first hardware product. And this is the product that allows us to win this year both the German Innovation Award and the OGI Award in Santa Clara. The OGI Award is the most reputable, I would say, award when it comes to augmented reality solution and services. Case study, just to give you an example, we already have a robust track record with market leaders in several verticals. This is an example of project we've been realizing in training with BASF. These service and maintenance use case with Festo. So we realize basically a connection between HoloLens and OPC UA protocol in order to deploy remote maintenance use case. Quality control for Magna. So how to drastically reduce the cycles when it comes to check a lot of possible errors in a car. Here is a use case in construction, education, exhibition. Sky's the limit for augmented reality, but to keep it short, we already, again, have realized several projects and also output and user application that our customer in several verticals, big industrial players, as you can see, they already use and integrate in their existing solution. And they also ask us to help them to, in fact, create and deploy our technologies, services, projects, and products in their digital, in fact, industrial platform. And not just deploy them and integrate them, but in fact, help them to, from one side, build platform of digital services but on the other side, that can not just be deployed in their own facilities, but they can also be later on used and sell or used, for example, for like, again, helping out their customers in, let's say, maintenance situation and so on and so forth to their customer base. So for anything, please reach out. This is like the general mail, info@hololight.com, but I brought also here smart glasses if anybody want to try our application, and please just reach out for any possible collaboration, both under the Horizon umbrella or like for some business cooperation. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Before we close, an important announcement from Idealist, please.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone, my name is João Milomas. I'm one of the national contact points. I'm here on behalf of Idealist, the network of national contact points. Just a brief reminder that we're holding a workshop on proposal idea check. So basically, if you have an idea for a project, if you're trying to find the best match for in Horizon 2020, if you'd like to discuss it with us and know a little bit more about a certain topic, come and talk with us. I have some brochures here about the workshop that we're organizing, and now you can sign up for it and discuss your idea with us, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So we come to the end of the session. I'd like to thank all the speakers, and there were many. So thanks for them to keep it short. And thanks to the audience for listening. And good luck if you're preparing proposals for this call.
Hello, hello. May I ask you to leave the room because we have another session now. Ladies and gentlemen, may I ask you to leave the room? Yeah, and this should, yeah, what you could do, if you could upload them on USB stick and give them to them during my talk.
Do you think they will come here?
Yeah, they are there. Some people are there already. Okay. Are we between us now? Okay. All right. It's the end of the day. I suppose, like me, you are really tired. So I try to be quick. It's a quite simple call. So it should be self-explaining. Although I'm not from that unit, they asked me 3 days ago to make the presentation. And I don't know anything about that. Well, I don't know anything about anything, so. But I make, you will have the impression that I know about it after my talk. The thing is, it's concerned everybody. It's really concerned everybody. When you go to a restaurant now and you have children on the table, very often they are using the phone or the mobile phone or whatever, or tablet, so they play during the dinner. So they have access to an internet. Very often they do. And I have the same, not the same problem, but the same thing happened to me with my grandchild. They access internet like I used to go to play in the field. They play with internet. So everything is changed, and the danger is there. I heard, and you probably heard and read, many stories about harassment on internet, access to, let's say, something that the children should not see. And this happens every day. It's a real danger. And we are all concerned, really all concerned. Now, not to be dramatic or too dramatic at the beginning. So that's a DG Connect. It's a G3, a unit based in Luxembourg. And they talk about and they deal with accessibility, multilingualism, and safer internet. And of course, we are dealing tonight with the safer internet activities. One of 3 internet users is a child. It's exactly what I was saying at the beginning. They are accessing internet every day, everywhere, and access to things that probably they should not see. Even preschool children are not digital consumers. They all do that. They use small and private devices, which allow mobility. It's 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Ownership and autonomy, they do that themselves. The digital environment offers children plenty of opportunities. It's true. It's infinite access to knowledge, but also to danger. In education, it's really useful, communication, entertainment, and networking, for sure. On the other hand, kids are exposed to risks that can affect their well-being, and sometimes forever. Now we have children that are disturbed forever due to that. Some even commit suicide due to that. So it's not something trivial. It's something very, very serious. So what do we want to do with this call? The idea is a CSA, so it's a support action. And the idea with the support action is to do the establishment of a platform to coordinate pan-European activities related to research on how children and young people, more specifically, to share existing knowledge. This will be the place where you will share your knowledge about that. work towards a consensual framework, fill research gap. That's very important because there are something we could think about a lot of things, and people who are working in this, and I suppose you do, could think about a lot of things, but a place where you could share your knowledge and maybe finding the gap that still are there in the research that you do. But also build capacity to prevent this kind of thing. To develop, along with all relevant stakeholders, policy recommendation and strategy. This is very important. At the Commission, we have a lot of knowledge. We have a lot of experts, but it's not sufficient. We need you. We need you to propose us new idea, new way to solve this problem, new way to share your knowledge about this. The action should not be a bottom-up approach. It should be it should not be a top-down approach. It should be a bottom-up approach. And we really need you for that. I heard that many times during these 2 days at ICT 2018, and people very often don't realize that. You have sometimes, or people have sometimes the impression that we just write a work program like this, connecting a few people, calling to some people, going to a few conferences. No, it's not like this at all. In my area of activities in cultural heritage, I do every year a workshop with 30, 40 people to know exactly what these people are looking for. And it is exactly what we want to do with this one as well. Create a roadmap of what should we do in the future. Where should we be more active? And it is actually this policy recommendation and strategy. Kind of roadmap, if I could say that in another way. Strategy on how to protect and ensure positive online experiences for children and young people. This is well protected. It's work. Objective. So a pan-European knowledge base on the online use and interaction of children and young people. So what do they do really on the web? Identify and fill current research gap. That's the idea. Where do we miss something? Covering both online opportunities and risk. Provide quantitative fact and data log comparing the finding across Europe. We need some facts. We need some statistic. And sometimes this statistic could be dramatic. I'm really, as a grandfather, I'm really, let's say, afraid with this. I was born in a, well, you see my white hair. I was born in a time that internet was not existing. And it was much easier. I remember when I was a child, it was much easier, much safer than it is today. Pay particular attention on the vulnerability of the children and how to build resilience for them. Sometimes you arrive too late. Parents discover that really sometimes too late. And also address gender issues in terms of the use of digital technology and services by children. The impact we want to have, update and deeper understanding of the impact of technological transformation on children and young people across Europe will help decision makers. Not only us, I mean, it's also in your country, it's not only at the level of the Commission. Very often, I heard the Commission should do something. We should do something on 3D standards. We should do something on standards. We should do something on trying after a project to create companies. We shouldn't fund. I say do it yourself. I mean, don't always trust or imagine that the Commission could solve all your problems. The Commission is there to help you. We are civil servants. We are civil servants for you. But at least sometimes you should also take your initiative to do something. And it is really important in each country, in each institution, and in each communities. Sometimes a small drop could help a lot. And support evidence-based policy making, that's actually the statistic, the thing that you will find in your research. So that the platform will help us to do that. And better define policy and strategy that will improve the children's digital skills so they can benefit from the opportunities provided by the ICT. There are many opportunities that could be used In our unit, we are also dealing with education, and we support this idea that ICT could be an interesting tool for the children. And so children will become more confident digital citizens. That's what we want to do for the future. What are we looking for? It's a platform that includes as many EU countries as possible, compiling quantitative facts on online interaction that allow comparing findings across Europe. As many as possible, as many of the countries, members of the Commission. Still for a while, we will probably, not sure yet, but we will probably lose, sadly, one country. Evidence-based related to children online, opportunities, risk and safety, and sufficient attention given to the gender-related issue. Targeted group, the age from 3 to 16 years old. 3, you imagine that? 3 years old. I mean, it's unrealistic. And the results should identify area of benefit and concern and lead to policy recommendation. So the call is very simple: a platform with evidence base of what's happened, of finding the gap that's still there, and try to make a roadmap for future activities or future research of the Commission. It is what we do. It's a very simple call. Submission deadline and budget. So the deadline will be the 14th of March, 5 o'clock Brussels time. 1 minute past 5 will be too late. Budget 1.5 million euro, and type of action a CSA. You have the website there where you will find the entire call with all the description. It's the part B of the call. There is a part A, but we are dealing only with the part B. The part A is a research and innovation action, if I remember well. The part B is the CSA. That's where we are acting. And that's it. Do you have any questions? Yes?
Is there another session we're dealing with the part A? Because the session is formulated in a way that it seems like it will be tackling the whole...
No, because the other one, as I remember, is done by RTD. RTD is not part from ICT2018. ICT2018 is only for DigiConnect. So I don't know if they will make any info day or something like this, but I cannot tell you. I'm sorry, you are coming from the part A.
It's a pity, because it is also in the app. I mean, the description of the reaction is one with many...
Not only reaction.
So that's the reason why you are so many in the room, actually. You were coming from the part A. I'm so sorry to disappoint you now. I was so pleased with all my sessions until now, and now I'm disappointing. All right, any other questions? Sorry for that. Misunderstanding. Any other question? No. Right, there are some people that sent some presentation. Any other one? Another one, a second one? Okay, did you send some slides? You didn't upload some slides on the site? No? No, you didn't. You upload some slides. Yeah, it's for the part A. Yes. But why not? We are there, so we are listening to you. Is it uploaded now? It will be uploaded in a minute. We managed to do it. Yes? Is it? Did you upload it on the website? Okay. There are 2 presentations. Did you? Alessandro is in fact from the unit G3. He's helping me there. So anyway, we'll start with the first presentation. It's uploaded normally now. Okay, you could come. Could you upload the first one, the first presentation? Not at all. No, I'm sorry about that, yeah? There is certainly a misunderstanding somewhere, or our fault. We make a mistake there to just not cut the part A. We should have cut the part A and not loading everything. But the call actually is very rare that you have something like this. Very rare that one part is from DGRTD and one part is from DG Connect. So it's extremely rare. And there it is. It's Follow Me. Are you ready? No? Maybe you could start with what slide? Yeah, I'm sure you could do it.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Patricia Castillo. I'm coming from Eurecat, which is a research and technology center based in Barcelona. We are spread in Catalonia. And we are actually 600 people organization. We cover many areas of technology and development. But in particular for this call, still not a presentation? So, in particular for this goal, I wanted to explain capacities we have that may fit very well a consortium working on this. And these capacities are a joint effort with another organization based in Catalonia, which is Parc Taulí Hospital Universitario, which is a university hospital. And we've been working for over a year or so, a bit more maybe, on developing and validating neurocognitive, psychophysiological, and brain measure methods for impact evaluation of ICT use. So we have been working on this, and we are currently validating these methods in VR, virtual reality intervention with children. It's a very small project in which we have developed a VR intervention program for helping people. Okay. Okay, it's easier if I have this. Okay, so these methodologies, we include psychophysiological, which is the part that we do with brain image fMRI methods, and we can we use this as objective measures for evaluating the impact of ICT. So we are validating them now with children in this small project funded by Reset Caixa. In a very nice project actually that we created a program to help children strengthen or build empathy in order to reduce bullying in class. So what we do is we created this program, this VR contents, and these measures to see how these children react and if this intervention can be measured the impact in objective measures, such including, for example, hot and cold cognition. The cold cognition processes are related to attention, to memory, to this kind of cognitive processes, and the hot ones are the ones in which emotions are involved. So this is a very, very, I think, relevant aspect to a proposal working on these topics. And as a bonus, we can give you access to end users. Because these collaborations with Parc Taulí, we have access to diverse end user groups, including healthy children, patients, and their families, and also young people in risk of exclusion, which is the target of broadly the target of the call. So that's what I wanted to say in this presentation. Thank you very much.
Another one? You've dropped something?
Oh, some money. The next one? Who could be the next one? It's a surprise one. Here we go. Hold on a second, we don't know which one it is.
So.
La France doit attendre un tout petit peu. one which is ready. Okay, there we go.
Thank you. Yeah, good evening, I would say, everyone. I will present you our organization. We are not a research organization. We are not a SME, so maybe you will ask yourself, but what you will present to us. What I will present is more to additional support for this kind of projects that we can bring and can be complementary to what Eric had presented just before. So just a few words about who we are. So Cap Digital is a French hub for digital and ecological transformation. We are the biggest cluster in Europe with more than 1,000 members, mostly SMEs and startups, but also universities, corporates, local authorities, laboratories, schools, education organization. And we have been created 12 years ago as a non-profit organization, and our main aim is to really provide facilitation and networking between our members. So we are 45 staff members working to provide this support, and we have help from more than 100 experts working for us for improving the quality of project and also to boost the growth of our startups. So just a few words about what we are talking about, because digital is everywhere, as you know. So we are targeting smart cities and ecological transition, e-health and well-being, cultural and creative industries, industry and services at large, education, training and talent. I will come back to this one also a bit longer after, and technologies at large, data, artificial intelligence, etc. So when we speak about communities, they represent between 100 and 200 members per communities. And on the one dedicated to education, this is a particularity for business cluster, because we really believe that education is a really important aspect so that companies can also engage in the digital transformation. And we have some values in which we believe that we should co-create with citizens and also the young generation to have them engage into co-create the future we want and not just be leading by the technologies. So this is just to show what kind of services we propose. So from support, R&D support to startup growth, promoting digital transformation. I will go not too much in detail on this. And also on the training and upskilling aspects. And on inspiration, because we also believe that it's needed to get some insight on intelligence on what we propose to our members. I just also would like to, for you to know, we organize every year in June a very large festival. Future en Scène was the name before. I saw maybe some of you know. Futures is the name now. And the particularity of this event is it's open to all and free. So, of course, it's open to professionals who want to get networking and to get access to businesses and to clients, for example, but also for the general public and for children. We have, in particular, some activities dedicated to schools and to kids so that they can join this festival, they can have fun, they can test, experiment new things. So it's really something important for us. So more dedicated to this goal. So yes, I have some slides also to show what we can bring to you. So working with Cap Digital is also an access to our networks. If you are looking for a French partner among our community, or if you are looking for a partner among our European network, we have experience in many projects, in many calls, so you can trust us as a relevant partner for that. And we have expertise in running projects as coordinator or partners. So more concretely, what we can propose in this specific call, so in part A of the call, the research and innovation action, it's you can get access to our large education community to engage also young people and children through schools, through educational, formal or non-formal organization. We can also organize innovative format, co-creation workshops, for example, to engage also this public into, to evaluate how they use the technology, and also to develop some methodology to get their feedback on this during, for example, the festival, Future Festival. And as I showed you before, we are connected to other communities. We are not focusing only on technology, only on education, but also on smart cities, on e-health. So this can be also a cross fertilization of different sectors, which can be also useful to assess the impact of technology on young people and youth. So this is all. I'm here. My colleague Julia also is here. We have the chance to have Benjamin, also the director of our education service here. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to come back to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuela. Another presentation? There was another one? There was no other one? No other presentation? Okay, then if you don't have any question, we will close the session. Any other question? Any other presentation? Sure? Okay, now I have a question. I have something for you. I promise to distribute it. It's for Ideal IST. Proposal idea check. I have the place where you could go. They are there downstairs somewhere. And they could help you for a pre-proposal check. I do that for free, you know? I didn't charge anybody for that. And it is a pity. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Have a good evening. See you later.